Beautiful. Well spoken. Let's now move up to 2010. The current situation in Haiti. As you know, we've been here for about a week, and we've gained some information. We've had a lot of private discussions and going around, but you've been here from the beginning of this current situation and experienced it personally. People who are not here need to hear the truth as you see it and view it. Could you give us the facts as you know them, what you can discuss publicly, and your analysis about the various aspects of the shake in terms of the destruction, displacement of the people, the effects it's had on the people. And I've noticed, it appears to me that Haiti is being occupied by a lot of military forces from all over the world. Could you share some of your views and thoughts?
Okay. My first lecture, I have to say that I was in a meeting and the house crumbled on us. We were 7 and one of us died. Several were badly hurt. And when I came out, more and more shaking was going on. And of course, the house, as it is today, is not the house that I came out of right after the first shake. Because there was a window that I came out of, which today does not exist. Because yesterday I was on the site. I went back to look. And,
what site were you on exactly?
Ministry of Culture.
Uh-huh.
So, as I came out the window, somebody took me out. Big, strong black man took me out the window, put me out. And I'm very, very grateful. As I walked out, I ended up in front of I guess my first instinct was like to get out of there. So I ended up in front of the south gate. And from the south gate of the ministry, you get to see the National Palace. And seconds after I arrived, I stood in front of the gate, raised my eyes, and saw the right roof of the palace that flew up like a straw hat. Looked like something very light, just lifted up, planed, and settled. Barely seconds, fractions of seconds after the left roof did the same thing. And when I turned away from the palace, the middle was still there, intact. But today, yesterday again when I saw it, what I left 2 weeks ago is not what I saw yesterday. So now as we got to, of course, first reaction was to want to go. Then I realized, there are other people that are hurt that needs help, so I can't just get up and go. And the Minister of Culture was there, Mrs. Michael, and she was, though she's not a healthy person, she's a person quite sick, but she stood up the whole time, mobilizing people to get everybody out from under the rubble. And so by 7:30, everybody was accounted. And the minister at that point went to the different radio stations to try to mobilize the people and encourage them and let them know what was going on, etc. Later on, maybe around 8 or more, I decided things were sufficiently, I could try to go home. Of course, I got into the street, got into my car, but of course going home was a whole different story. I must have turned around maybe 3 or 4 hours without ever finding a road that could lead me to my house. So I ended up in a neighborhood of Chiojo, and there I remembered my aunt is not too far from there, Mrs. Champagne, so I looked for her house. But even recognizing her house was, not very easy. But in the end, I found her. And everybody was on the street, on the sidewalk. That's where everybody was sleeping that night. So I parked the car and I stayed with them. But since I was hurt, fever, that's when I started really realizing that I had been hurt. And, so moving was very difficult. Anyway, I did manage to find a doctor who took a scarf and gave me some support for the arm, for the shoulder. And then we settled for the night. The next morning at 6, we got up to try to find home, but still was not very, getting home was not easy. In the end, we ended up going back to the ministry. And there we find the minister was still there. She's gone back, spend the night with the rest of the employees that could not go home. She did not go to her house. And so we helped out in different things that was going on there. And finally, maybe around 3, looked for the way home again and made it this time. And now we started listening to news and looking at news and whatnot. And we realized that practically every single government building was crushed. The second big thing was all major churches, all denominations, Catholic, Protestants, all the different sects. Every major church is down, crushed, on the ground. And in several cases, full of folks, people were in these churches praying, especially after the second, and then I learned later, after the first few shakes, people thought that it was over. So a lot of people went to church to go pray and whatnot. And so quite a few of them. Monsignor is out, lots of priests are killed. So the whole church structure is really crushed. The next thing is schools. Schools of all levels. Universities, secondary schools, primary schools, kindergartens, no matter what kind of schools. Lots of schools are down. And then we learned from the news that big hotels, quite a few big hotels went down. And the minister, who is the occupants that have been here since 2004, the international, that's a word that I don't like to use either. It's funny, we say the international community, as if we are here and the international is across from us. So in the international, we're not in there, right? So that kind of concept, not for me. Anyway, these foreign military folks that are here, led by the UN, the minister, it's called in Haiti. So these have occupied Haiti since 2004, and these folks were totally decapitated. All the higher heads were meeting somewhere, and everybody went together.